one example I showed you with conditions, how to deal with the conditions and work with them. Technically, this is the example we designed. So in this example, we have all this, the logic and the functionality, everything we designed in this way. So now one more important is here. I hope everyone practiced this. You practiced and achieved it, tried. You have tried. Any doubts are there? Clear with this example? Have you designed this example, everyone? Have you tried this example? Fine. Okay. Now the point is, if we have to reduce this logic to write less and do more, right? Technically, we need jQuery for that. By using jQuery, we can handle these all in a simple way. The language basics are same everywhere, but the number of lines that you write as logic, presentation also same. The number of lines that you write as logic will be reduced. Technically, it will be reduced. So generally, how we can manage the same approach, I will tell you. So in jQuery, I will give an overview. You can try that same. But this is simple condition, how we defined a condition and work with the condition. Next, after understanding this, so we have another option is if else, how we can configure if else. Technically, if else is nothing but, so if else is a decision making which executes some set of statements when the condition is true. Another set of statements when condition is false. So based on that, we can manage some design and functionality. Means if true, it will do one set of tasks. If false, it will do another set of tasks. That you can do by using if and else, right? So generally, how we can manage if else options. Let's see one simple point here. Means if else, if there are many conditions to check, we use else if. And so else if is for multiple conditions. And finally, we have to define else. That is another point. Now, because you have used JavaScript, jQuery, everywhere, the logic will be same. Only the approach will be different. So configuration approach will be different. We can side by side handle both of them so that we can clearly understand. I will show you first how to handle this now, because already we know little bit about Bootstrap jQuery. We will use a combination side by side. We will see how to handle that. We will discuss, right, detail. Means how we can manage the same with the jQuery also, we will see. But let's finish this condition. So I will design another example. I will copy this. And I'm writing if else demo.html. Now here we are configuring. So a doc type, HTML and head section. In that we have all these scripts and in the body section we define class as a container. Okay, fine. Now in this I'm adding a simple login screen. That means I will define a toolbar or something. So heading, suppose I defined some Amazon shopping, and here we will put a div class as btn toolbar. So then btn toolbar, and we will put a background, so bg danger. Okay, and here we have a div class as btn group, and here we are having home. So button, we have a home, so home. Okay, now here we are defining a simple class as btn and btn danger. Okay, and another div we have class as btn group, and here we have a button, say login or sign in. Okay, so we will use a span, and this also will use a class as btn and btn danger. And in the span we are adding here, in the span we are adding here class as, we are defining the class as fa and fa user. So we have user. Okay, now this is the basic design, and we have that the design here, and font awesome is not there. I will link relation is equal to style sheet, href is equal to fonts, in fonts css alt dot css. Okay, so the font sign in will be like this. I will keep this as a button toolbar as justify content between, and the second group will be right side. So we have right side a sign in option available. Right, so you have to choose that sign in option. So this is the toolbar, and I click on the sign in, a pop-up should come and it should display to sign in. Obviously under the toolbar I am designing a div, so class as model, and here fade. Okay, and id as login model, and a div class as so model dialog. In the div we have a class as model content. In the model content we have a div class as so model header, and here we are defining option as user login. So we have a div class as model body, and here we have an option like username. So div and a class as form group, and we have a label as username. And here we are having another div and a class as form group, and here we are defining label as password. Okay, and here we have a div to enter. Input type is equal to text, and id is equal to txt name. Id equal to txt name, and below this another div. Input type is equal to password, and id is equal to txt password, and below this I will define another div. This will be class model footer. So this is all in the model body. We have a model footer. In that we have a button login, and we have class as btn and btn success, and we have another button. So the button class is having btn and btn danger, and close. And here we are having a data dismiss. Data dismiss is equal to model. Data dismiss is equal to model. Now usually the model should pop up and display on the login button click. That means here we are using a class as, here already class is there, data toggle. Data toggle is model, and data target is equal to hash login model. That is the data target. We are configuring that. So in the sign in, a login will come like this. When I click sign in, user login will come here, and close, then it will close. And the text box and password, we are having a class as form control, and password also we are having a class form control. Okay, then I click on this, then it will get this username and password. When username and password is entered, we need to verify that username and password. If it is valid, it should redirect to some other page. If not valid, then it should show some message. It should display some message. Usually I want to display the message just here under this heading. I will put a span, id as msg, class as text danger. Okay, so we need to handle that danger. Okay, class as text danger. Right, now important is I need some data for the users, username and password. On login, I have to verify that. On close, it will be closed. So here we are defining event for this login button click. That means on click is equal to login click. Okay, we need to write a script on login click here. So we are adding a script, and we have a function login click. On login click, we need to handle some details. The details, first we need to collect. We need some data. User details. User details is some data. We have user details. It is an array. array of objects. It is an array of objects. Already we learned array of objects. This is username. Username is some John12 and username is John_NIT something, and password is some string type. Password is 12345. That is his password. Okay, another username is some David, and password for David is David123, like this. So like this, some users are present. Username, and another user is some Raj, and password is some Raj12 like this. We have some user details. It is an array of objects. Now we need to collect the username entered in text box, where username is equal to document dot get element by id txt name dot value. That means what value they entered inside the text box, where password is document get element by id txt pwd, whatever password box id I have given here. So for password box id is txt password, so we need to use txt password completely. Txt password, okay, dot value. That means we are collecting the value from two text boxes. After collecting the value from two text boxes, I need to verify this username and password entered in text box is matching with the username password available in user details. So, and if not, display message. So where msg is equal to document get element by id msg. msg is a span or div, or anywhere you display that message. That span is present here. I will keep better a div so that it will get a correct perfect next line here. Okay, in that div msg I need to display the message. So here, so the point is how you can handle the logic. First point is we need to verify. We can verify both. That means username and password. How to verify both? And remember, you need to verify because username and password can be any one of these usernames and passwords. But for John, it should match with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an array of objects. How to read anything from array of objects? Already you remembered, we learned about for of, I told you. For where item of collection. Collection is what? User details. That means from user details, we are collecting every user information. So we will better keep the term as user. For where user of user details. That means for every user in user details, we have to collect the username and password and verify. That means we are reading everyone. Then here we write a condition here. We need to define condition. If user dot username is equal to double equal, we are comparing, is equal to username. Username is the name that you have collected from text box, is equal to username. If user's username in data is equal to the username in text box and double ampersand, password also should match. That means user dot password is equal to matching with password. That means both conditions should satisfy. If both are matching, username is matching, password is also matching, then so I will simply put a option like location dot href. Location.href. Location is a JavaScript object. I will tell you JavaScript object one separate point. I will discuss about them. Location.href. Location is a JavaScript object, browser object. Location.href is used for redirecting from one page to another page. If it is success from this page, it has to go to some other page like /home.html. If there is home page, if any another page, any another page you can give. Else what should happen? If not correct, then msg.innerhtml. msg is the div. Here it should say invalid username or password. We have to write like this. We have to define like this. So after displaying invalid username and password, so it will redirect when it is correct. Otherwise, it will display that. After displaying username and password, then it should stop, come out. Then what we can do here is, here we can define. First, let's see the point here. I will refresh there. Logic is ready. I will click and type username. Username is John. So John, okay. And here you see there is no user called John. Suppose username is John_NIT. Okay. Password is something wrong. I click on login. Then it says invalid username or password. At the right corner, you can see that. That means just beside that, I am displaying that. You can display that anywhere. Here in the model itself, it is showing invalid username or password. Okay. Now important, I entered the correct one. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the password. And click on login. Then it should redirect to our home page. There is some home page in our project. It is redirecting to that location. If anything is invalid, suppose I am writing another user, David. We have a user called David. And here, so password, suppose David 123, that is the password. Password is correct. So username is wrong. Then click on login. Then it again says invalid username or password. So if I entered David correctly and password also correct, login, it will go to the home page. That means you can enter the username and password from any one of those usernames and passwords. But they should exactly match with that. For that user, for that password should match. That's what we are doing here. Generally in real time, this data comes from server-side technology. They send us through API in an JSON form. We just bring it and verify the details. So here I am just hard coding the values. Now here the point is, so this is what generally we have done by using a simple if and else. That means if and else, a simple if else. Example, if and else. If and else. Here one problem is that this is simple if actually. This is an example of a simple if. We call it as simple if. Simple if. The problem in this simple if, this is example. So simple if means it contains if syntax. That means this is simple if. And in the simple if it contains if condition. And we define statements if true. And we define else and the statements if false. if false. We are defining in this way. So that is the example here. This is the example. But here, one of the main problem is when anything wrong entered, it is saying invalid username password. I am confused here. Is username wrong or password wrong? That is the thing we need to understand. That means we can be more clear now. We have to first verify username. If username is good, then verify password. Don't verify both at a time. If you are verifying both at a time, I hope you understood the problem. If I verify both at a time, then the problem is I am confused about whether username problem or password problem. In that case, now this is not the right way. We can do in another way. What is that? We can use multiple conditions, multi-level conditions, multi-level conditions. How we can define multi-level condition? First, if user.username is matching with username, if user.username is matching with username, only first verify username. If not matching with username, then what should happen? If not matching with username, then what should happen? msg.innerHTML, it should say invalid username. This message should come. After invalid username, it should stop execution. Then we will put a break. If I don't use break, then what will happen is it will continue. It will continue. Because you are in a loop, it will continue with the next one. But it should just stop if it is invalid username. Break will stop execution. It comes out of this if condition. Now, another point is if username is correct, here I will write again another condition. If user.password is equal to password, we will verify whether password is correct or not. If password is also correct, password is also wrong, that means inside this again else. That means now password is wrong. If password is wrong, msg.innerHTML is equal to invalid password and break, stop. And here, if password also correct, means username correct, password correct, then location.href is equal to /. So here it has to go to home.html. It should navigate to home page. This is multi-level condition. Multi-level condition allows to verify each and every point step by step. The main advantage is we can identify every problem and report that problem. Previously, you are checking all conditions in one line. That will say that it is wrong, but it will be problem in understanding what is wrong. Then we can go with multi-level conditions. And I will refresh here, sign in. I'm entering that David, and I'm entering some wrong password for David, and login. It says invalid username is showing. Actually, here it should say invalid password. So it should verify that invalid password. Suppose here every time it is showing that. Because actually what we are doing is, so we are creating a break. So see, it is verifying that username. David is there. And it is showing invalid username. Why? Because, so it is breaking here. It is stopping here. I will remove this break here. I remove the breaks here, both locations, else break I have removed it. Okay. And I will remove, means it is stopping there. I'm entering David. Okay. And I'm entering password wrong. And login. It simply says invalid username again. Why? Because here, if username is correct, then it should secondly check the password. But in this condition, what it is happening is it is verifying username and it is showing invalid username on. So if correct 123, or so our password is David123. So here we are defining the password as David123. Okay. And click on login. It is fine, working fine. But in the error, it is unable to go into password and verify the password. That means here the point is, if it is unable to go into it. That means here we are verifying username and we are verifying the password. If username is correct, then it will get into this. It will get into this. But first we are verifying username. That is the reason. What it will do is it will verify the username. It will come into this condition location. It will come into that condition location. Means a username is invalid. After username is invalid, once it finish executing the block, it come out of that else block. I will show you in debugger. So this is where we have to handle the logic correctly. I will show you in debugger. Observe in the debugger. So F12, yesterday I showed you debugger. In that sources, open that file. Our file is in this project. Our file is in JavaScript examples. If else demo, yeah. Now in this file, put a breakpoint here. Put a breakpoint at 19 line. Okay. Now click on sign in. I entered the username, some John _ NIT, and I'm defining so some 1 2 3 wrong password. I click login. You see it comes here. It comes to this location. User is currently not known and user details have all these details. I click on step over. It will come to this next step. So user is containing password 1234 and username is John NIT. It should compare that with this here. Username is John NIT. It is verifying. After verifying, I click on step over. It is going to password. Password is also 123. That means here what happens is it is verifying username and it is checking, getting into password. And when password is correct, username password is 12345, our password is 123. Then click on step over. It will come to invalid password. That means it is correct, coming to the correct location only. Okay, next. After the message is invalid password. Now what happening here is it is going to the user again. That means it is going to the for loop again. I click on next. Again, it is checking the username. After checking the username, again observe here it is accessing the username again. So that means second username also verified here. So this username is verified as John1 NIT. After the first username verified, if it is successful, then it should stop. After verifying the first username, it is verifying the second username. Second username is not correct. Because second username is John NIT. Right? Then it will display. So invalid username. Again, verify. Next step. Again, third user also it is verifying. This is where the logic problem came, right? That means this is where the condition is rotating. That means here what we have to do in our logic is, in this logic, after finishing verification of username, that means you verified the username and you verified the password. If password is wrong, invalid password. After this, you need to keep here break. We will break here now. If I break there, that means it will show if the password is wrong, invalid password it will display. I will tell you multiple conditions are there. That means I will refresh now. See here. I will write the condition. So because first I will make sure that in the debugger, I will remove this breakpoint. Okay. First we will execute normally, right? Okay. And refresh and click. And username is David. And password is wrong. And click on login. Then it now shows it invalid password. Understood? So now where to put the break? That is important. We have to identify in the debugger if there is any issue coming. Now username is correct. Suppose username is wrong and click on login. It says invalid username. Now it is good. That means username is David and click login. It says invalid password. Password is so wrong. What is the password? David123. And click on login, then it will log in. That means where we are breaking, that means after verifying the username and password, if there is a problem, then stop. Don't check the second user. What it is doing is, it is checking the second user again, third user, fourth user. That's the reason after printing this message, it is stopping. It is not checking the second password related options. That's the reason where we have to put this break is important. If you are writing multi-level and loops, remember, if you are not writing loop, then no problem. When you are writing the loops, then where to break, when to break, it is important. Now, why we have used this multi-level conditions? We have used multi-level conditions in order to verify every problem detailedly. Previously also we achieved, but we are simply saying invalid username or password. We don't know is username wrong or password wrong. Now it looks good. That means same example, only the logic change. Logic change. So here I will give that logic. Example design is same. So what you can do is, so here multi-level conditions. For multi-level conditions, this is the logic we have to define. This is the logic we have to define. And why we need multi-level conditions? We need multi-level conditions in order to identify every problem and report about that problem detailedly. So we can write all the problems in one line, but it will not show detailed information like is it password wrong, is username wrong. That is the reason we have to go with this technique. This is how you can use multi-level conditions. Multi-level conditions. Actually, we can use multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. Generally, multiple conditions are written like this. If condition, and next step, if condition is true. If condition is true. So that means statements, if condition. This is a first condition. If condition 1 is true. Then we write else if. We write condition 2. And here second condition. So this is statements if condition 2 true. Statements if condition 2 is true. Else, that means if all conditions are false. Statements if all conditions false are false. Now why we need this type of conditions? Multiple conditions. Multiple conditions means we are giving more than one choice actually. More than one choice. We are giving more than one choice. multiple conditions, we are giving more than one choice. That means sometimes you see in the login screen, they will ask more than one choice we can give. In the login screen, usually you can observe that they will give, so username, they will give the username. So, or sometimes they will say that you can enter your mobile number also, username or mobile. This type of situation comes sometimes. That means now what happens is when I click this, so I will say, okay, when I click login, it says username or mobile. Means either username or mobile. I can use both. Now comes the point is user can, it has to match with username or mobile number. If a username entered, it will continue verifying username. If mobile entered, it will continue mobile. That means we have a more than one choice now. We have more than one choice. User can enter with mobile or user can enter with username. Then how you can define more than one choice here? That means here in this logic, suppose username and every user have mobile. Every user have mobile. In the mobile, we have like, so 9988. It is also a string type only. It's not a number because it can start with +91 like that, 9988776655 like this. Right, like this. So we are adding this mobile. So 9876543210. Not as number because you are not doing any addition subtraction here. It's a lengthy mobile number. It should match exactly. So it can be a string. It can start with +91 like this. 98765412 like this. I'm defining like this some mobiles. Now in our logic here, in our logic, we have to collect mobile number. Mobile number also coming from same username box only. From username box, mobile number also same username box. But important is here we are writing this condition like this. If username is matching with username, then verify. This is one condition, verify the password. So else invalid username. We are displaying the message invalid username. Actually, here we can write else if actually. Here we can write else if. Else if. Another condition is if user.username, user.mobile is matching with username. Actually, this time that username, in the username text box, you have mobile number. Means it can match with username or it can match with mobile. If it is matching with mobile, then what we have to define? Here we need to define. So if it is matching, then here we will write another option. So like we can simply put that location. Here we can put location dot href. Href is equal to location.href is equal to here also home.html. It should go to that location. Else what should happen? That means if it is not msg.innerhtml, it should say here, it should display so invalid, so mobile, invalid mobile like this. This is not right actually. I am just putting everything in one example, but this can be done. For that, I will show you a different example that is easy to understand. But here our intention is I am just showing you point. That means we are giving two choices. So whether username or whether mobile. That means here else if we are checking another condition and we are defining this. It can allow with mobile number also. Otherwise, it should say invalid mobile. Actually, here one more if condition we have to check. Is it mobile? Is it username? Another condition we need to verify actually. Here I'm just giving one basic point. So, okay, let's run this here. I'm entering now. Suppose 9988776654 and password for that mobile number. So it is not 54 actually, 55. Password is 12345. I'll say 12345. Password is correct. I click on login. It says invalid mobile this time. Invalid mobile. It is showing invalid mobile. So if I entered 55 correctly and password is also correct, it will go to that login. That means we are verifying that mobile here. Remember, here without mobile, he can enter David. So, and David 123. If password is anything wrong, so then it says invalid password. So David 123, David 123 and login. It's also working fine. That means now you have a choice, multiple choice. You can ask for mobile number. Suppose you are giving mobile number. That means this is the mobile number. What is that mobile number? So and I am entering the mobile number 987654321. That is the mobile number. And password is wrong. Then it should say invalid login. Right. That's what I said. So if mobile is correct, that means if this is correct, you are doing this. If it is not correct, you are doing this. If there is a password problem, so we have to verify that also. That means here we have to write one more condition. That means here we have to define for password also. Mobile is correct, but password is wrong. That means here actually we need to verify one more condition here. Again, if you have to write. In this if, we have to check. In the else if, we have to check. So user dot password is matching with password, is matching with password. Then this success should come. Then this success should come. Else what should happen? Else what should happen? Then msg.innerhtml. Here it has to say, so invalid password. That means you have to write for both username and mobile. Multi-level conditions should be written for both username and mobile. For username and for mobile. For both of them, you have to define. Then it looks good. For invalid username, it should say again invalid username. Else we have to define. Like this, we need to manage multi-level conditions here. Then only our functionality will be perfect. So I will give this in a separate example, this part, so that you can easily understand. Then obviously in this example also you can try this. That means here, refresh here. I'm entering the mobile number 987654321. Password is wrong. And it says invalid mobile. Here also the same condition came. Why? Because you are still in the condition loop. Then what you have to do? After verifying this, we need to put a break here. So this looks complex, right? So here I entered 987654321 and I entered some wrong password. Then it should say invalid password. This is the right way to approach. And if I enter the password correct for that mobile number, so for that mobile number, password is David123. That means I am saying David123. That is the correct password. Then it should say login. Like this, you need to handle multi-level conditions and multiple conditions. Here I am using here I'm using else if. In one attempt, if you look at this and this, that is very good. This is how generally we manage everything. Conditions, right? You can try this also. That may change it. We are using a multiple conditions in multi-level hierarchy. Multi-level. Both are multiple is to give more than one choice. You are giving a choice, either login with username or login with mobile. And you are verifying password for both of them. Then you have to write 2 times that password related verification. So that means if username is matching, continue. If mobile is matching, then continue. So user can enter anyone. His mobile number he can enter or his username he can enter. That is how we manage the multi-level and multiple conditions here. Now you can log in with this, because for invalid username also they should display a message if username is not. You can try this first. If you can try this, one problem is there inside this multi-level. What is the problem is, if there are more than 2-3 choices, then you have to check every choice. So that means first it will check username, then it will check mobile number. If you entered mobile number, directly it should check mobile number. No, it will not check like that. First it will check the username, then it comes to mobile number. So that means every condition is checked. To avoid that, we can use switch case. We can manage by using switch case. So how that is used, we will discuss about that. How to manage and work with the switch cases, we will see that. That we will discuss in next session, right? Tomorrow. Tomorrow we will discuss about how to handle this with switch by using switch conditions, how we can manage multiple. Then we can design some more complex designs, examples, right? Tomorrow we will continue with this, right? Then tomorrow, I will, once we finish this, I will give you tasks so that we can practice, right? Tomorrow we will continue.